It's just gone lunchtime. This is the third and final hour of All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Maseko Ratlacha. So we have been tracking various stories for you throughout the course of the day, and many of them by now have had developments. Let's now give you an update on how far those stories have advanced at lunchtime. All right, we have our reporters Heidi Giokos, who is in Johannesburg, and we have Moloto in the Free State. Let me start with you, Heidi. You've been getting some reaction from political parties and unions on yesterday's announcement that NERSA has granted Eskom an 18.65% tariff hike from April. What have been the sentiments?
Well, I can give you one word, Maseko, and that's complete rejection to the announcement by NERSA increasing electricity by 18.65%. Unions, together with political parties, businesses at large, South Africans are rejecting this. And I think the main reason why there is so much rejection is because we are subjected to constant rolling blackouts. The country is currently in stage 6 of load shedding, and that's indefinitely, which means that we have no end in sight to the rolling blackouts. 11 generators are currently not working, and this is a huge crisis. South Africans are saying, why should we be paying more for electricity when we don't even have the electricity? We got a chance to speak to Kasatu, the opposition leader, DA, as well as Saftu, who have all indicated that government needs to urgently intervene and do something about this. The other big crisis here is that you have defaulting municipalities, and Eskom's debt continues to balloon. What is going to be done about that? If municipalities are defaulting now and you have some ratepayers who are already not paying, what is that going to mean moving now into this 18.65% increase? But I want us to listen to Saftu's Zwelinzima Vavi on the ongoing crisis at Eskom and how this new increase should be rejected.
Things are falling apart. I don't know how many people are still believing that there's going to be a future under the current administration led by the ANC, unfortunately. Eskom has broken 700 billion rands on capital expenditure since 2007, but it produces a 25% less electricity today than it did then. The money has gone mainly to pay the corrupt Gorogoro, Medupi and Kusile coal-fired power plants, for which Eskom owes most of the 400 billion rands of liabilities and debt to lenders like World Bank and the Western governments, import-export banks, which would have been cancelled under normal circumstances as forming part of what we call the odious debt, and which is something that we make a call now. Without workers mobilizing on the ground and uniting with the rest of society to demand an end to this road we are traveling in, I'm afraid there will be no future for our country and for the generations to come.
All right. Now, Pule, let me come to you. You've also been getting reaction on these tariff increases that have been, given the go-ahead by NERSA. What are ordinary South Africans saying about having to pay for the services that they essentially don't get?
Well, ordinary South Africans are quite disappointed about the tariff hike that has been, of course, introduced by NERSA to the tune of about 18.6%. They believe this is just going to be quite expensive for, as electricity goes up. But, of course, they're also facing the burden of having been hard hit by load shedding stage 6. And right here today, we're in Tembisa, we're visiting one SMME, which has been operating, but at some times they don't make a lot of money due to the load shedding and, of course, unplanned outage. Earlier on, we spoke to an analyst, we spoke to some residents in Bromhof, and now we're speaking to a business owner here in Tembisa. Mr. Kitani, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
Good. So how's everything? Stage 6 load shedding now, Barre, Banyako, New Samtlakasi. How do you feel, sir?
It's really, really bad because New Samtlakasi, Kamo, get load shedding. Sometimes it's stage 4, sometimes stage 6. So it's bad for us for business.
And how has your business been operating, like in terms of financial income? Are you working on a loss now? Because if electricity goes for like 4 hours, clearly now, you know, your patrons can't even come and enjoy it.
Yes, I'm working on a loss because since the load shedding, I think when I look at the books, the profit has gone down. So it's bad, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kitane, for joining us on eNCA. That's one of the SMEs, Masiho, saying they're working on a loss. It's quite, bad for all South Africans in this country currently, and they just want some sort of intervention to say that, there must be some sort of, helping from government, which will ensure that they don't work on a loss, as things are already expensive, the cost of living is already high, and therefore they just want to see some bit of intervention there.
All right, let's go to Moloko, who is in the Free State for us, where a meeting was meant to take place, Moloko, between ANC Free State government officials and the party Secretary General Fikile Mbalula. The meeting was called by Mbalula, I believe, who apparently is demanding answers from officials about the deteriorating state of the province and factionalism within the ANC there. But Moloko, there's also that development from yesterday around the interim PEC and Mangaung Mayor Letshwiti-Jones. But this meeting also, has it gone underway?
Well, the meeting that was meant to take place between the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, and specifically the councillors at the troubled Mangaung Metro did not take place. It was meant to start at 10 this morning, but we have seen a text message from the provincial coordinator of the ANC here sent to some of the councillors, if not all, informing them that that meeting has now been postponed to Sunday at 10 o'clock. Now, the ANC's provincial interim committee held a meeting yesterday. It appears that Fikile Mbalula had spent some time in the province, but that interim provincial committee of the ANC in the province, we understand, according to the statement that they have issued and also the confirmation by the provincial spokesperson, Mr. Oba Kwabane, has decided that the executive mayor of Mangaung, Letshwiti-Jones, must be removed from the top position. We also understand that the changes will not only affect him as the executive mayor, his deputy, the deputy executive mayor, will also be removed. I understand that they also want to remove even the speaker of Mangaung. Of course, this is not coming as a surprise. We have heard Fikile Mbalula when he was delivering the Peter Mokaba Memorial Lecture here in Mangaung just on the eve of the January 8 statement, indicating that there are going to be changes starting here in Mangaung, and they will be going to various parts of the country. Of course, the city of Mangaung has been troubled by various issues. 500 million rand that was meant for service delivery, large part of it was actually taken back by the National Treasury. And of course, earlier when we spoke to Opa, he indicated as well, touching on the political side of things, saying that there's going to be a provincial elective conference of the ANC next weekend. And of course, this is coming at a time when the structures, particularly the regions, are also troubled. For instance, in Letshwiti-Jones, sometime 2 months back, there was an election there of the region of the ANC. Disgruntled party members here are now challenging that particular conference in court in Mangaung, as much as the ANC denies this. But there are two parallel structures because there were two meetings. Both of them elected people they believe are the regional leaders of the ANC in Mangaung. But let's listen to Oba Kwabane of the ANC in the Free State province explaining the reasons why they decided to fire Letshwiti-Jones as the executive mayor of Mangaung.
The IPC in the Free State has been concerned about the political leadership of the institution in relation to a whole lot of issues, and key to that is the issue of service delivery. Now, based on those issues, the committee decided that there really has to be changes in the political leadership of the institution, and therefore took a decision that the mayor has to be changed, and that process has to be undertaken with the National Executive Committee so that it can be finalized.
All right, that was your eNCA lunchtime update with eNCA reporters Heidi Giokos, Pule, Letshwiti-Jones and Moloko Moloto.